Of course, a return to profitability is always good news, Robin. You made a profit of 2.93 million for the 6 months period. That's from a loss of 230 million in the previous period. Revenue, however, slipping back slightly. Can you explain that for us? But of course, the key return to profitability, what drove that?
Look, I think obviously when one looks at the comparative period, there was obviously an impairment charge that came through in that particular period. But I think when one looks at the revenue specifically, the main impacts there have been the downscaling or restructuring and downscaling of our South African exploration business on the back of some of the economic woes in the PGM sector, and at the same time some of the costs associated with closing down our Megacube business.
Let's talk about your South African operations right now, because PGM accounting for around 8% of the business right now. Are you going to look at moving out of the PGM space? Are you going to look at diversifying further away from South Africa?
As far as the exploration side is concerned, that was the main objective of the downscaling and restructuring of GeoSearch's South African operations. So that it could be switched into more foreign operations, which are obviously more exposed to gold and in Mozambique coal exploration. As far as the open cast businesses are concerned, it's an area we've actually moved into during this period through our Benicon and Jeff operations.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you talk about Megacube and closing that down, loss-making division. Why did you make the decision to ultimately shut it down and, of course, not try and revive it or try and return it to profitability?
We've obviously worked over the last period and the last couple of years to try and achieve that. And in the 2010 financial year, or 2011 financial year, we managed to get it just sort of to a break-even level. Unfortunately, that momentum wasn't carried forward in 2012, and the decision was taken by the board to start dealing with what remained in Megacube. We took the last of the operating contracts and put that under the management of Benicon and transferred the assets associated with that. And then subsequently, we also terminated that contract and moved those assets into what we believe to be more profitable work throughout the Benicon stable and new work within the PGM sector.
And of course, a very important piece of news that you delivered today, the Nkomati Anthracite mine is going to come back into production as of April next year. You've got the water license now that you needed. When it does come online, talk to us about the timeline there and how much anthracite, in fact, you're going to be producing from that mine.
Before we closed the operation, we were producing around about 30,000 tonnes of run-of-mine production a month out of the open pit operation. It's our intention to ramp that up starting from April next year, and that produces sales of somewhere around about 22 to 24,000 tonnes a month, giving us about sort of 300,000 tonnes of anthracite sales per annum. And post that we can look at where the sort of anthracite market is and obviously what the capability of the mine and capacity is going forward. During the next couple of months up to April, we've got to put all the dewatering infrastructure and water management infrastructure in place, and obviously dewater the open pit, which at the time of closing the operation had coal exposed in it.
Robin, very quickly, Mozambique, of course, I can't let you go without talking about this area. When it comes to coal mining, of course, very important to the economy right now. When it comes to Sentula, how important or how successful have you been with your exploration activities there?
We have, obviously, GeoSearch has a subsidiary in Mozambique under the name of Aguatera, have been for about 15 years. Have a very good relationship with many of the large coal producers in the Tet province. And about 3 years ago, we also took some earth-moving equipment up to Mozambique under Benicon. And it's our intention, because this is a growing coal mining area, to grow that over the next sort of period.